Prince Harry reportedly told his father, who is undergoing cancer treatment, that without taxpayer-funded armed security, he would not bring the children to the United Kingdom for a visit. King Charles' reported response? Nothing at all. No public statement, no private counteroffer, no message through aides, and no briefing to friendly reporters. Just silence. In a family where every move is often analyzed, that silence spoke louder than any carefully crafted response and revealed plenty about how the palace appears to be handling this pressure.
When are you going to learn, man, that it is completely inappropriate and unacceptable, and the king simply will not have it, and the royal family simply will not have it, with you calling up trashy reporters at trashy mainstream media publications to try and force them into doing something they don't want to do?
Tonight, we're looking at what was reportedly said and why it triggered such a strong reaction. We'll examine why the security dispute can be viewed either as a practical travel issue or as a negotiating position, what the Balmoral option says about the choices available, and why timing plays such a major role here. The king is dealing with cancer, and the grandchildren are still very young. Those two facts sit at the center of this story, and they help explain why this reported exchange has attracted so much attention.
Is now 100% trapped. I mean, he talked about it on that TV show, that he's the one that can't get away because now she rules the roost. She's cut him off from the family. She's got no family. She's got the friend. She's got Marcus Anderson. He's a fun person and he will fill her in with the gossip and all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, Harry to her, a means to an end.
According to reports that drew major attention, Prince Harry told his father that without suitable security arrangements, he would travel to the United Kingdom alone rather than bringing Archie and Lilibet. The message was presented as a practical one. The argument was simple. Without the level of protection he believes is necessary, the children would not make the trip. Viewed on its own, that position is easy to understand. Parents make safety decisions for their children all the time, and that is not unusual. What makes this situation different is the history behind it. This is not a new disagreement tied to a single visit. The security dispute has been ongoing for years and has played out through legal challenges, public comments, and intense media coverage. It has become one of the most debated issues surrounding Harry's relationship with the royal institution. Throughout that period, the palace has maintained the same position. Harry's security status changed after he stepped back from royal duties, and decisions about protection are handled through established procedures rather than personal requests. That background changes how the reported message is interpreted. It places two separate issues side by side: family relationships and security policy. The palace has consistently treated those as distinct matters. When they appear linked, the conversation shifts from a policy debate to a highly emotional family issue, creating a situation that becomes much harder for the institution to address without facing criticism from one side or the other.
Why is Harry making like all these games around his children, trying to be this, man that gets what he wants all the time and using your children to do it? It's so wrong and disgusting. I don't even know.
The reported argument places family access and the security dispute side by side. The underlying idea is that resolving the security issue is necessary before regular family visits can happen. Since the king is often viewed as central to these discussions, that framing immediately drew attention. Some commentators took that logic to its most extreme conclusion, suggesting it could be interpreted as pay up or you will go to your grave without having known your own grandchildren. That wording was not reported as something Harry actually said. It was an interpretation offered by critics reacting to the broader message. Whether that interpretation is fair depends on what people believe the intent was. From the outside, that is impossible to know with certainty. What is clear is that King Charles reportedly responded with silence rather than engagement, and that reaction became a major part of the story itself.
He is just a broken man, Dan. He is broken in a big way. And I feel sorry for those children. I really do, because they're the ones who are going to be the ones losing out.
Charles has access to advisors, communications staff, trusted aides, and private channels designed for sensitive family matters. There were several ways a response could have been delivered. A counterproposal could have been discussed privately. Flexibility could have been signaled through intermediaries, or a confidential conversation could have been opened. Instead, there was no public indication of movement. Many royal watchers viewed that silence as a deliberate decision. Remaining quiet under heavy public scrutiny is often more difficult than responding because it allows others to shape the conversation. Choosing that path suggests that engaging with the reported framing may have been viewed as carrying greater risks than staying silent. For the palace, responding directly could have created challenges on either side. Agreeing might have raised questions about whether institutional decisions could be influenced by family pressure, while rejecting the idea outright could have sparked criticism about family relationships. Silence avoided both outcomes, even if it left the dispute unresolved.
Because Prince Harry is due in the country next month, he still has no confirmation from the Home Office that he's going to get the taxpayer-funded security. Good. He still has no confirmation from King Charles that Harry will meet him. Good. Because remember, what remains so central to all of this is the threat.
Now let's look at the Balmoral scenario, because royal commentators keep bringing it up, and it changes the conversation in an interesting way. The argument is fairly simple. Over the past several years, Harry has shown that international travel is possible when it is a priority. He has traveled to a range of locations, including places that presented significant security considerations. Those trips went ahead despite complex planning requirements and security challenges. That leads to a key question. Is the United Kingdom truly a uniquely difficult place for a former senior royal, with private security arrangements to visit? Or has the issue grown into something larger because of the long-running legal and political dispute surrounding security protections?
Your grandchildren should just be a natural thing. There should not be any negotiations around seeing your grandchildren. How absurd is that? And at the end of all of this, Dan, Harry is going to regret it so much because you do not use your children as pawns.
Balmoral is often mentioned because it is one of the most secure royal properties in the country. The estate already has extensive security measures, professional staff, and controlled access in place regardless of who is visiting. The property covers a vast area, allowing visitors to remain on secure grounds without needing frequent exposure to public spaces. Travel arrangements could potentially be designed around private routes and restricted areas, reducing many of the concerns that usually come up in discussions about security. Several royal observers have argued that a short private visit could be possible under those conditions. The idea would involve direct travel to the estate, no public appearances, and no media access. In that scenario, the children could spend time with their grandfather on a heavily protected royal property. Because of that, some commentators question why such a visit has not taken place. If the estate already provides a high level of security, they argue that at least some practical barriers could potentially be managed without resolving every aspect of the wider dispute first. There is no public answer from either side on that point. What keeps drawing attention is the possibility that the biggest obstacle may not be the travel arrangements themselves. Critics and supporters alike continue to debate whether the real challenge is security, logistics, or the broader disagreement that has been building for years around the issue. Some commentators argue that disputes like this often stay unresolved when the larger issue remains unsettled. That's why many believe the real focus is not a single family visit, but the long-term question of security arrangements. According to that view, the reported disagreement is bigger than whether the grandchildren visit Balmoral this year. Instead, it centers on the possibility of a lasting security framework that could apply to Harry's future visits for years to come. Supporters of this interpretation see the family visit as part of a much broader conversation rather than a standalone issue. If that reading is correct, the implications extend beyond King Charles. Any long-term arrangement could influence how similar matters are handled in the future, making it an institutional issue rather than simply a personal family matter. That creates a difficult position for Charles. The palace has consistently maintained that security decisions follow established procedures rather than individual preferences. Moving away from that approach could raise questions about the process, while sticking to it could continue to affect family relationships. Neither option is especially easy to navigate. For some observers, that helps explain why silence has remained the dominant response. It delays the need to make a public choice between competing pressures and avoids adding more controversy to an already sensitive situation. Another major factor is time. Beyond the legal debates and security arguments, many people focus on the personal reality facing the king. Charles is continuing treatment for cancer, and palace updates have carefully stated that the condition is not in remission. While he has returned to many duties, his schedule has been adjusted as a precaution. At 76 years old, Charles is balancing health challenges while still managing the responsibilities of a relatively new reign. That reality adds another layer to the discussion and is one reason the story continues to attract such intense attention. Throughout his health challenges, King Charles has continued carrying out public duties with determination. He has remained visible, attended engagements, and continued performing the responsibilities of the role, despite undergoing cancer treatment. At the same time, he is also a grandfather whose relationship with two grandchildren living thousands of miles away is reportedly very limited. Archie is 7 and Lilibet is 5. Those are important childhood years when regular time spent with grandparents can help build lasting family memories and connections. Many people would agree that relationships are often shaped through ordinary moments rather than major events. Time spent together, shared experiences, and simple family interactions can play a major role in how children come to understand their wider family network. When those opportunities are limited, the impact can be felt on all sides. Several royal biographers and longtime correspondents have suggested that Charles takes this part of his family situation seriously. Reports over the years have frequently described him as someone who remains open to reconciliation and reluctant to close the door completely on family relationships, even during difficult periods. Observers often contrast that approach with the way Prince William is portrayed. William is frequently described as someone who makes firm decisions and stands by them. Charles, on the other hand, is often characterized as more inclined to leave room for future repair and renewed dialogue. That distinction has become more noticeable as discussions about family reconciliation continue. For supporters of that view, the situation carries added emotional weight because serious health challenges naturally place greater attention on the value of time and family connections. Meanwhile, some commentators continue to argue that the deeper issue remains the long-running security dispute rather than any single visit. From that perspective, the debate is not only about arranging one trip or one meeting. Instead, they see it as part of a much larger disagreement that has been developing for years and remains unresolved today. According to some commentators, the dispute is really about creating a long-term security arrangement that would apply to Harry whenever he visits the United Kingdom in the future. In this interpretation, the debate goes far beyond a single trip or family gathering. They argue that any permanent arrangement could extend well beyond King Charles' reign and potentially become part of the framework inherited by future monarchs. Because of that, supporters of this view believe the stakes are much larger than one summer visit. Seen through that lens, The reported family visit becomes part of a broader discussion about a lasting institutional issue rather than a short-term travel question. The focus shifts from immediate logistics to what kind of precedent might be set going forward. That leaves Charles facing a difficult balancing act. The palace has consistently maintained that security matters follow established procedures rather than family considerations. Changing course could raise questions about that process, while maintaining the current position could continue to affect personal relationships. For many observers, this helps explain why silence has remained the preferred response. It does not settle the disagreement or move it closer to a conclusion, but it avoids making a public choice between two complicated options. Meanwhile, time continues to move forward regardless of what decisions are made. Another element that attracts attention is the personal history between father and son. In his memoir, Harry reflected on seeing his father during difficult moments and described an awareness of the emotional burdens Charles carried. Because of those reflections, some outside observers view the current situation as more than a simple disagreement over travel or security. To them, it also involves a deeper family dynamic that makes the dispute feel far more personal and emotionally charged. Harry has often spoken with deep emotion about losing his mother at a young age and how that experience shaped his life. He has described the pain of unanswered questions, missed conversations, and the lasting impact of losing a parent before feeling ready for that loss. Over the years, those reflections have become a major part of his public story. He has frequently discussed grief, time, and the permanent nature of absence in a way that resonates with many people. Because of that, some observers have pointed to what they see as a difficult parallel with the current situation involving his father. Those commentators note that Harry has spoken extensively about the value of family connections and the regret that can come when time runs out. They argue that this perspective makes the ongoing distance within the family especially striking. Others, however, see the circumstances as far more complicated and caution against drawing simple comparisons. King Charles is continuing treatment for a serious illness, while reports suggest family relationships remain strained. For some observers, that combination has added emotional weight to the public discussion. The situation is not defined by physical absence, but by disagreements that remain unresolved, and that distinction is often highlighted in debates about the story. Another issue that frequently enters the conversation is Meghan's relationship with her father, Thomas Markle. He has been publicly estranged from his daughter for years and has not had a relationship with Archie and Lilibet. Because of that, some commentators draw comparisons between the two family situations. Others argue the circumstances are very different. They point to the specific events that led to the breakdown between Meghan and her father, including public controversies and media involvement that became widely reported before her wedding. From that perspective, the causes of the estrangement are separate from the security dispute involving Harry and the palace. As a result, observers continue to debate whether the situations should be viewed as connected examples of family distance or as entirely different disputes with different origins and possible solutions. Those who view these situations as part of a larger pattern point to one basic fact. Both grandfathers reportedly have little or no relationship with the Sussex children. They argue that, regardless of the reasons behind each dispute, the result has remained largely the same for years. From that perspective, the children are not responsible for any of the disagreements, yet they are the ones growing up while those divisions continue. Archie and Lilibet are still very young and have no meaningful role in the decisions being made around them. At the same time, other developments have added more context to the broader conversation surrounding Harry's public standing. During the same news cycle, some commentators noted Harry's absence from certain high-profile sporting events and VIP circles, while figures such as David Beckham remained prominently involved. Those comparisons sparked fresh debate about influence, visibility, and public perception. For some observers, These stories connect to a wider discussion about how Harry's position has evolved over the years. They argue that several relationships, partnerships, and public associations that once attracted major attention have changed significantly since the royal split. Yet many commentators believe the family aspect remains the most powerful part of the story. Public debates over security, legal challenges, and media narratives come and go, but family relationships carry a different kind of emotional weight. That is especially true when health concerns and the passage of time become part of the conversation. The focus often returns to the same central figures: young children, a father undergoing cancer treatment, and relatives separated by distance and ongoing disagreements. Those realities continue to shape how many people view the situation. As things stand, the security dispute remains unresolved. No publicly confirmed meeting between Harry and King Charles has been announced, and questions about future visits remain unanswered. Meanwhile, time continues to move forward, which is why many observers see the issue as about more than policy or logistics alone. It is also about opportunities that may not remain open forever. For people who have followed this royal family for years, the situation can feel increasingly frustrating. Reports of progress and possible reconciliation appear from time to time, often citing unnamed sources who suggest that private discussions are moving things forward. Yet the visible facts continue to tell a different story. The grandchildren remain in California. The king remains in the United Kingdom. Balmoral remains available and highly secure, and as each summer passes, the distance between the two sides remains largely unchanged. Many royal observers see King Charles' continued silence as a deliberate choice. Rather than escalating the conflict in public, they believe he is avoiding a confrontation that could make any future reconciliation even more difficult. For those commentators, that has become one of the saddest aspects of the entire story. Since becoming king, Charles has faced enormous personal and public challenges, including a cancer diagnosis, the loss of Queen Elizabeth II, and the pressures of leading the monarchy through a major transition. Throughout years of headlines, interviews, documentaries, and memoir revelations, he has rarely chosen to respond publicly in kind. Whether this situation changes now depends on the decisions made by the people directly involved. That remains the key question hanging over the entire story. For all the debates about security, legal matters, and royal protocol, the future ultimately comes down to choices that have yet to be made. What do you think? Is the security dispute the real obstacle, or is it part of a much larger disagreement? And do you believe a private Balmoral visit could happen if both sides genuinely wanted it? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and share the video, subscribe so you don't miss future coverage. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.